Elves seldom give unguarded advice, for advice is a dangerous gift, even from the wise to the wise, and all courses may run ill. Today, we narrate the life and story of Gildor Inglorion, the Noldor of the House of Finrod. The date of Gildor's birth is not specified, but we know that he is a Noldorin elf who refers to himself and his group of elves as exiled Noldor. The exiled Noldor are those of the High Elves and the descendants of them who, seeking revenge from Morgoth, took part in an ancient rebellion and departed from Valinor and reached Middle-earth. This event took place millennia before the War of the Ring, during the years of the trees, before the sun and moon were even created. Gildor's words imply that he might be one of those elves who joined the flight of the Noldor. If this is true, at the time of the Lord of the Rings, Gildor would be thousands of years old. Gildor's name is Sindarin, and it means Star-Lord, and Inglorion can be interpreted as son of Inglor. Gildor's parentage is unknown, but some speculations can be deduced from the way he introduces himself to Frodo in the narrative. The first one is that he is the son of an elf named Inglor. The second one is that Gildor is of the House of Finrod, the Golden House of Finarfin, from where Galadriel also descends. He could either be a descendant or a servant of that house. It is possible that at the end of the Third Age, he dwelt somewhere around Imladris, the house of Elrond Half-Elven. On September 3001 of the Third Age, Gildor and many High Elves camp above Woodhall, a village in the east farthing of the Shire within the woods of Woody-End. While camping there, Bilbo Baggins, the uncle of Frodo Baggins, leaves the Shire to travel towards Rivendell, and as he passes by them, he waves them farewell. The following years, Gildor Inglorion meets Bilbo once again, perhaps at Rivendell. 16 years pass, and in 3018 of the Third Age, Gildor leads a wandering company of elves of Rivendell to the Emun Bereid, or Tower Hills. There, the Palantir of Elostirion, one of the Seeing Stones, has been put under the elf's care since Elendil's death, Aragorn's ancestor. This Palantir is aligned westwards towards the Master Stone in Tol Eressëa, and the elves of Middle-earth make pilgrimages to look at the stone and catch a glimpse of Elbereth Gilthoniel, the Valie named Varda, the Queen of the Stars. The firstborn love her the most out of all the Valar, and they often pray to her. On September 3018, Gildor, returning from one such pilgrimage, leads a wandering company eastwards towards Imladris. On their way back, with their clear voices in the starlit air, they sing a hymn to Elbereth, and unknowingly to them, their song drives away a Nazgul who is searching for Frodo Baggins, Samwise Gamgee, and Peregrine Took on the road near the Woody-End. The hobbits sat in shadow by the wayside. Before long, the elves came down the lane towards the valley. They passed slowly, and the hobbits could see the starlight glimmering on their hair and in their eyes, They bore no lights, yet as they walked, a shimmer, like the light of the moon above the rim of the hills before it rises, seemed to fall about their feet. They were now silent, and as the last elf passed, he turned and looked towards the hobbits and laughed. "Hail, Frodo! You are abroad late, or are you perhaps lost?" He then called the other elves, and all the company stops and gathers round. "This is indeed wonderful. 3 hobbits in a wood at night. We have not seen such a thing since Bilbo went away. What is the meaning of it?" "The meaning of it, fair people, is simply that we seem to be going the same way as you are. I like walking under the stars, but I would welcome your company." "And how do you know that we go the same way as you? For you do not know whither we are going." "And how do you know my name?" "We know many things. We have seen you often before, with Bilbo, though you may not have seen us." "Who are you and who is your lord?" "I am Gildor, Gildor Inglorion of the House of Finrod. We are exiles, and most of our kindred have long ago departed, and we too are now only tarrying here a while, ere we return over the great sea. But some of our kinsfolk dwell still in peace in Rivendell. Come now, Frodo, tell us what you are doing, for we see that there is some shadow of fear upon you." "Oh, wise people, tell us about the Black Riders." "Black Riders? Why do you ask about Black Riders?" "Because 2 Black Riders have overtaken us today, or one has done so twice. Only a little while ago, he slipped away as you drew near." The elves do not answer them immediately. They start speaking together in their own tongue. Finally, Gildor turns to the hobbits. "We will not speak of this here. We think you had best come now with us. It is not our custom, but for this time we will take you on our road, and you shall lodge with us tonight, if you will." "Oh, fair folk, this is good fortune beyond my hope." "I thank you indeed, Gildor Inglorion. Ellen Silla Lumen Omentielvo, a star shines on the hour of our meeting." "Be careful, friends. Speak no secrets. Here is a scholar in the ancient tongue. Bilbo was a good master. Hail, elf friend. Come now with your friends and join our company. You had best walk in the middle, so that you may not stray. You may be weary before we halt. For tonight we go to the woods on the hills above Woodhall. It is some miles, but you shall have rest at the end of it, and it will shorten your journey tomorrow." They now marched on again in silence, and passed like shadows and faint lights, for elves, even more than hobbits, could walk when they wished without sound or footfall. They keep on traveling this way until they approach the village of Woodhall. Before they reach it, Gildor and his fellow elves sit on the grass and converse with each other. As the night approaches, the stars rise and become brighter and brighter, and the elves begin to sing. Thereafter, they give food to the 3 hobbits, and after they spend some time with them, Sam and Pippin fall asleep. But Frodo remains awake and speaks with Gildor. They spoke of many things, old and new, and Frodo questioned Gildor much about happenings in the wide world outside the Shire. The tidings were mostly sad and ominous, of gathering darkness, the wars of men, and the flight of the elves. At last, Frodo asked the question that was nearest to his heart. "Tell me, Gildor, Have you ever seen Bilbo since he left us?" Gildor smiles. "Yes, twice. He said farewell to us on this very spot, but I saw him once again, far from here." Frodo falls silent. "You do not ask me or tell me much that concerns yourself, Frodo, but I already know a little, and I can read more in your face and in the thought behind your questions. You are leaving the Shire, and yet you doubt that you will find what you seek, or accomplish what you intend, or that you will ever return. Is not that so?" "It is, but I thought my going was a secret known only to Gandalf and my faithful Sam." "The secret will not reach the enemy from us." "The enemy? Then you know why I am leaving the Shire?" "I do not know for what reason the enemy is pursuing you, but I perceive that he is. Strange indeed though that seems to me, and I warn you that peril is now both before you and behind you, and upon either side." "You mean the Riders? I feared that they were servants of the enemy. What are the Black Riders?" "Has Gandalf told you nothing?" "Nothing about such creatures." "Then I think it is not for me to say more, lest terror should keep you from your journey, for it seems to me that you have set out only just in time, if indeed you are in time. You must now make haste, and neither stay nor turn back, for the Shire is no longer any protection to you." "I cannot imagine what information could be more terrifying than your hints and warnings. I knew that danger lay ahead, of course, but I did not expect to meet it in our own Shire. Can't a hobbit walk from the water to the river in peace?" "But it is not your own Shire. Others dwelt here before hobbits were, and others will dwell here again when hobbits are no more. The wide world is all about you. You can fence yourselves in, but you cannot forever fence it out." "I know, and yet it has always seemed so safe and familiar. What can I do now? My plan was to leave the Shire secretly and make my way to Rivendell, but now my footsteps are dogged before ever I get to Backland." "I think you should still follow that plan. I do not think the road will prove too hard for your courage, but if you desire clearer counsel, you should ask Gandalf. I do not know the reason for your flight, and therefore I do not know by what means your pursuers will assail you. These things Gandalf must know. I suppose that you will see him before you leave the Shire?" "I hope so, but that is another thing that makes me anxious. I have been expecting Gandalf for many days. He was to have come to Hobbiton at the latest 2 nights ago, but he has never appeared. Now I am wondering what can have happened. Should I wait for him?" Gildor stays silent for a moment. After a while, he answers to Frodo. "I do not like this news. That Gandalf should be late does not bode well, but it is said, do not meddle in the affairs of wizards, for they are subtle and quick to anger. The choice is yours, to go or wait. And it is also said, go not to the elves for counsel, for they will say both no and yes." "Is it indeed? Elves seldom give unguarded advice, for advice is a dangerous gift, even from the wise to the wise, and all courses may run ill. But what would you? You have not told me all concerning yourself, and how then shall I choose better than you? But if you demand advice, I will for friendship's sake give it. I think you should now go at once, without delay, and if Gandalf does not come before you set out, then I also advise this: do not go alone. Take such friends as are trusty and willing. Now you should be grateful, for I do not give this counsel gladly. The elves have their own labors and their own sorrows, and they are little concerned with the ways of hobbits or of any other creatures upon earth. Our paths cross there seldom, by chance or purpose. In this meeting, there may be more than chance, but the purpose is not clear to me, and I fear to say too much. I am deeply grateful, but I wish you would tell me plainly what the Black Riders are. If I take your advice, I may not see Gandalf for a long while, and I ought to know what is the danger that pursues me. Is it not enough to know that they are servants of the enemy? Flee them. Speak no words to them. They are deadly. Ask no more of me, but my heart forebodes that ere all is ended, you, Frodo, son of Drogo, will know more of these fell things than Gildor in Glorion. May Elbereth protect you. But where shall I find courage? That is what I chiefly need. Courage is found in unlikely places. Be of good hope. Sleep now. In the morning we shall have gone, but we will send our messages through the lands. The wandering companies shall know of your journey, and those that have power for good shall be on the watch. I name you Elfriend, and may the stars shine upon the end of your road. Seldom have we had such delight in strangers, and it is fair to hear words of the ancient speech from the lips of other wanderers in the world. After their conversation comes to an end, Frodo goes to sleep. Gildor and the elves provide them with supplies for their journey, and the next morning, when the hobbits wake up, they have disappeared. Afterwards, Gildor proceeds with sending word to other wandering companies to be on the watch, and informs Tom Bombadil, Aragorn, and Master Elrond in Imladris about Frodo's journey, so that they may help him with his quest. We do not learn of Gildor's actions for the next 3 years, but on the 22nd of September 3021, he meets Frodo and Sam once again. There, Gildor accompanies a riding of great lords and ladies with many of the fair elven folk. This company includes Elrond, the Lord of Imladris, Galadriel, the Lady of Lorien, and Bilbo Baggins. They are heading towards the Grey Havens and intend to sail west and leave Middle-earth forever. If Gildor in Glorion boards the ship to the west with them, the Professor Tolkien does not mention, but since Gildor is of the exiled Noldor and one of the High Elves of Middle-earth, it is probable that he indeed departs. If so, Gildor may have vanished from Middle-earth and may have reached the Undying Lands along with the Ring-bearers, living ever after in the eternal bliss of Valinor. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one on Mae Govannen. Namarie.